Hey folks, welcome to Seawaywhiskywire. Tonight on the bar, we've got the Sons of Vancouver Wheated Rye. Stay tuned. Well, hey folks, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and tonight on the bar, we've got ourselves another fine Canadian expression and the whiskey you want your good friends to drink when you're dead, with the Sons of Vancouver Wheated Rye from Sons of Vancouver Distillery out in North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. But before we get into the overview and the full review of this expression from Sons of Vancouver, if you have yourself anything from Sons of Vancouver, maybe you got one of the limited releases, maybe you got a Realms of Rye, maybe you got the Wheated Rye and you want to pour yourself a dram and drink along with me, please do so. I encourage it. It makes life a heck of a lot better for you guys on the other end, and I enjoy you guys drinking along with me, especially when it's an expression from Sons of Vancouver. So what can I tell you guys about this regular release from Sons of Vancouver? Well, that's one of the things that I really want stated. This is a regular release. You can go on their website right now and you can buy this. It's available, and I hope for the foreseeable future it is going to be available. And I do believe there is a couple of shops in Vancouver or in British Columbia that this is stocked in, but I'll put the link to the website down in the description below. Head over there and peruse to your heart's content, but definitely would encourage you to check that out. But anyways, let's get into the overview without spoiling my review too quickly here. I've already kind of talked a little bit or a lot of bit about this release here from Sons of Vancouver, the Wheated Rye. So what can I tell you guys about the Wheated Rye release from Sons of Vancouver? Number one, comes in with an ABV stamp of 50.5% ABV, naturally presented as all Sons of Vancouver releases are, non-filtered, no color added, just the way we like it. This particular release is a mash bill of 75% rye and 25% wheat, giving a nice bit of a smooth edge to it there. And the aging process, it is aged for between 3 and 5 years in a combination of ex-bourbon and new American oak casks. Just a beautiful release there from them, and we'll get into the color of the pour and stuff like that. But let's transition into the presentation, because I really want to talk a little bit about this, because they put some work into this. Beautiful bottle. I'm not a big fan of the high, tall bottles. Sons of Vancouver, I'm just a fan, period. But they've got this lovely graphic on the front of it here, like this little fountain here. The original Wheated Rye, it gives you all the information you could ever want, some little bit of tasting notes there, the ABV stamp. But on the back is really where it gets better. They give you pretty much all the information I just spewed off there. They give you the mash bill, they give you the barrel types that were used, the mash bill, like I said, the maturation length, the type of still that was used, the fermentation type. They give you just so much information. And again, I say this a lot about craft distillers, and they need to follow suit, but thank you very much, Sons of Vancouver. James, Max, and Jenna, thank you very much for being transparent, treating the whiskey drinker with dignity and respect. Really appreciate it, and I really wish more and more distilleries out there would definitely do that, and not just be relying on the craft guys to do this here. But yeah, beautiful bottle, nice tall bottle, lots of information on it, and yeah, I'm a huge fan of the way the bottle looks. And yeah, with that, let's get into the color. We'll get into the pour. I'm gonna do a little cork pop here, and we'll get ourselves a wee dram poured here of Sons of Vancouver's Wheated Rye. Again, we're going for a look here, guys. Naturally presented, and it's just a beautiful, vibrant amber color. Nice color imparted by those casks there. That new American oak, ex-bourbon. I believe it's first fill ex-bourbon. Who am I kidding? Sons of Vancouver, it's good quality cask selection, and they put a lot of work into it. And I think it shows with this naturally colored presentation here. Again, beautiful, vibrant amber color there, and I don't know if you can see the legs on that, but legs are nice and long. All right, with that, I can already smell some lovely aromas kicking into the bar here. Let's get into the nose on the Sons of Vancouver Wheated Rye and see what we can pull out of the nose on this regular production release from Sons of Van. On the nose. At 50.5% ABV, nothing offensive, nothing singeing the nose hairs. Very vibrant and very lively nose. Right off the get-go, just punch in at your face some lovely creamy vanilla, and right behind that, some burnt caramel, some honey, maybe some floral honey in there. Then you kind of move into some fruit notes. I'm getting some oranges, some lovely navel oranges, maybe even some tangerine in there. some apricots, and some cherries. And then at the back end, it's a little bit of light chocolate, some light coffee notes in there. But yeah, very, very vibrant, very, very fragrant nose. And being that it is 75% rye, you don't get any of that herbaceous note or that vegetal kind of note at the back, or dill that you sometimes get from some Canadian ryes there. I probably should have noted that too, that this is all BC grain. So it's British Columbia rye and British Columbia wheat that's used in here, but you don't get any of this herbaceous or vegetal note. And I'm not a big fan of that in my ryes, so I'm a big fan of this nose. But yeah, with the nose out of the way, I can't stand it anymore. It's been sitting here teasing me, and it is a personal favorite of mine. Let's get into the palate and see what we can dig out of the Sons of Vancouver Wheated Rye release. So cheers to your health, and hope you got something good in your glass, guys, because I sure do. Cheers. Not gonna lie, excellent mouthfeel. Clings to the side of your mouth. Not oily, but it's very viscous, and it hangs on, and it just kind of slings down your throat. Very, very nice, very, very beautiful mouthfeel. What am I getting on the palate? Matches the nose almost to a T. Sweet cream, honey, caramel notes in there. I'm getting the oranges. Now it's kind of more of a like orange marmalade, preserve kind of thing going on there. It's got the orange peels in the marmalade. I'm also getting some apricot jam in there, and some chocolate covered cherries. Gonna go in for one more sip. Very warming. No alcoholic note in this at all. Just very well balanced. Yeah. Marmalade, apricot jam, chocolate covered cherries, a little bit of a light tobacco and light coffee note at the back end, and then a nice warming hug of cinnamon and some lovely baking spices in there, clove, nutmeg, what have you. Yeah, well balanced, lots of flavor, lots going on, just very, very well presented. I have had it with water, and at 50%, you're welcome to it. The water, I find, washes out some of that spice, amplifies the sweetness a little bit, but I'm perfectly happy drinking it neat like this. But again, if you got it and you want to know what it's like with the water, that's exactly kind of what I'm getting. So feel free to add water if you want. I will prefer to drink it neat like this, as it should. I've yet to use it in a cocktail, and shame on me, I really should, but it's just so darn good neat like this. All right, with that, let's move on to the finish. I'm going to go for one more sip, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts on the finish and my final thoughts on the this wheated rye release from Sons of Van. Not really sure if it's going to be too surprising. One more sip. Lovely. Finish wise, medium to long. Lots of flavors. Not too sweet, but it has that sweet profile at the start there, but they're not too sweet. Those honeys, those burnt caramel notes, those caramel notes, they're just kind of beautifully noted in there. I even get a little bit of marshmallow now that I'm kind of sitting here taking it in on the third sip there. The preserves, the jams, the marmalades, chocolate covered cherries, like chocolate covered maraschino cherry, like a cherry blossom, I think would be kind of the best way to put that. A little bit of that tobacco note. It's got a whole lot going on for it too. And this is really, one, if not the dram of the summer for me, guys. I've been pounding away and working my way through this here, sharing it with some friends. But it's a banger, and one that I'm really, really enjoying. And now we're going to transition into the value, because I'm kind of starting to wrap everything up here. But this is where I think this one really sings and is great at a value. So value-wise, online, still available on their website and probably around some shops in British Columbia. You can get this for $96. $96 for a well-represented expression, craft presentation, the way whiskey's supposed to be made, using locally sourced ingredients. I could go on and on. good quality casks, made with love, all that kind of stuff. At 96 bucks, this is a great one. And really, I believe this is kind of like a play or a spin-off of one of their special releases here. Kind of the same idea as far as the wheat incorporation here. But the fact is that they put out some wicked stuff. One of the biggest complaints I've had from Sons of Vancouver is that hey, I'm glad you like it, but I can't get it. And this is where I think this one shines. I encourage you guys, actually, I'm going to do more than encourage you. I'm going to tell you to go out and seek this out. I've got a backup bottle on the bar over here, not because I think it's gonna run out or nothing like that. It probably will run out, but they actually sent me an extra bottle, so I got that on the bar as a backup, which I'm glad they did, and I'm glad they didn't ask for it back. But it's just one of these whiskeys that's like, very good, very true to form. It's a great example of a Canadian rye done right. If you don't like rye with that vegetal herbaceous note and that dill note in it, this is the one for you. If you're kind of a bourbon fan or like your rye like that, like not as sweet, this is the way to go. And to be frank, I'm just a fanboy, so I'm going to tell you to go get it. But it is really good, and I do share it with a lot of folks, and anybody I've shared it with has really enjoyed it. And at 96 bucks, I think it is a steal. So there you have it. That is my full review of the Sons of Vancouver Wheated Rye regular release, and I encourage you guys to go over and check out their website. I'll put it in the description below, like I said, and go over and see what they got on the website. And if you like what we're doing here at Seaway Whiskey Wire, you guys know that drill. Like and subscribe down below. And hey, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Seaway Whiskey Wire for more content. And if you guys are still hanging around this long in the video, watching me sample and review one of my favorite distilleries presentations here and their first regular release, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Love coming to the basement after a long day's work. We started to get a little bit of relief in the Seaway here. It's not nearly as hot, but it's a beautiful night nonetheless to savor and share and talk and discuss a great Canadian craft distillery doing great Canadian craft whiskey. There you go. I'm gonna go finish up my wee dram of Sons of Van Wheated Rye here and probably get to some editing. So cheers, all the best, and I'll see you around, guys. Bye for now.